Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome and thanks for joining this important campus conversation regarding AUC participation in COP27. I'm Hani Henry, Professor of Psychology and Associate Dean of the School of Humanities and Social Sciences, and I will be moderating the panel today. I am also a member of the AUC's task force on COP27. Today's session will be in a different format than what we usually do for campus conversations. We will spend most of the session learning about what's happening at AUC's pavilion at COP27 and seeing some of the people and activities live from Sharm El Sheikh. We will, of course, answer questions throughout the session. You can either raise your hand to state your question, or you can type in the question in the Q&A section in the chat. As you may know, COP27 is a UN conference that's currently being held in Sharm El Sheikh in Egypt, and is attended by a large number of world leaders, international organizations, NGOs, and activists. They're working together to tackle the climate change crisis and provide effective and sustainable solutions in response to this existential threat. I'm joined online by Associate Provost Adham Ramadan, who is responsible for AUC's Climate Change Initiative, and Vice President Dina Abou Futuh, who is a fellow member of the COP27 task force. The rest of the task force were unfortunately unable to join us today. They are Associate Dean Samir Atallah, Karim Siddiq, Naila Hamdi, and Assistant Provost Fadi Morkos. Joining us live from the pavilion is the University Architect, Khalid Tarabia, who is also the chair of the COP27 task force. And with him are President Ahmed Dalal and Provost Ihab Abdurrahman. We will go now to the AUC communication team, who will talk to the President, Provost, and Dr. Khalid and a number of faculty and students to see what's happening there.
Okay, hi everyone. We're here at the AUC pavilion at COP27. We're going to take you on a quick tour. Today is Science and Youth and Future Generations Day at COP27. It's a super busy day here. Hi, Dr. Dalal. How are you? Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, how are you?
How do you feel about the AUC's participation today at COP27?
It's heartening to see the level of participation. I'm very happy to see everyone who's here, the contributions of our faculty, of our students, of our staff, to this extremely important event, extremely important for the whole world and certainly for Egypt. It's remarkable that we're able to contribute to this effort at the national level and beyond. So I'm very happy to see the great work that our community is doing. I'm very happy that we're able to showcase some of this work, the work that's being done here in Egypt. And of course, I'm happy that we're all collectively are able to contribute to, in our respective ways, to solving one of the most intractable problems of the world.
Thank you very much. Let you finish your thanks. So, Dr. Ihab, how's it going? So, can you tell us what distinguishes AUC's faculty and students' research showcased here at the pavilion at COP27?
What distinguishes us actually is really we're addressing societal problems. We're looking at them, we're searching for them, we're bringing them to campus, and we're providing solutions to the communities. So if you look around the EUC pavilion here, you will find so many solutions that we have already implemented for our society.
Thank you, Dr. Ihab.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Khalid. Dr. Khalid Tarabia. Hi, Doctor.
Hello.
Can you take us on a quick tour here?
Sure. Hello everyone. Khalid Tarabia, University Architect and Associate Professor of Sustainable Design, live here from our AUC pavilion, COP27. So generally, we have our pavilion is 100 meters square and shows a diverse number of projects. Climersive, which is unveiled for the very first time for COP. Climersive is climate change and emergent technology, and it takes us through a new generation of design studio we have here the energy, food, water nexus center. We have clay led and mix. So we have other levels of it, combining metals with mechanical collaborations with mechanical engineering and architecture. We also have other prototypes, wind tower prototypes, analysis, other poster screens that shows the state-of-the-art innovations for our faculty across 4 schools, School of Sciences and Engineering, Business School, Policy, GAP, Arts, centers like Centers of the Sustainability Office. So this is just a general overview on where we are and what we have in the pavilion. And as you see, it's kind of where we are as of now.
So I hear you, AUC decided to unveil the Immersive Design Studio here at COP. So can you and Dr. Sharif tell us more about it?
Sure. So I'll speak a bit until Dr. Sharif is explaining to Professor Abdurrahman now. Immersive is a new generation of design studios, and it combines two-dimensional design, traditional two-dimensional architectural design with 3D, a platform for 3D dimensional design that overlays energy simulation, climatic analysis, and many more of solar radiation analysis, natural daylighting, all on one platform that is combined and coupled with virtual reality, which Dr. Sharif will speak about.
Hi, my name is Sharif Abdel Mohsen. I'm the Associate Chair of the Department of Architecture, Associate Professor. Here we're introducing today the Immersive Design Studio, which merges the idea of climate change mitigation and immersive virtual reality techniques. So that the premise here is that students of architecture would really work with ideas that integrate and incorporate the mitigation of carbon footprint and carbon emissions reduction and climate change mitigation. We took the AUC campus as a pilot study where the master plan extension of the campus, students can actually go in and use virtual reality techniques to get instant feedback about the energy use intensity of the buildings that they are designing in real time, and get feedback and informed design decisions into what they propose into those designs, and have a very experiential mode of going through the VR and the virtual reality and the augmented reality techniques into how they can actually experience the designs that they propose, and also at the same time get in real time feedback about energy consumption, so they know if buildings that they design are exceeding, for example, a certain baseline energy-wise, what to do in terms of mitigating that. So they can add, for example, solar panels, they can introduce treatments on the building facades, they can work with plantation, they can work with different methods at different scales and levels of detail to mitigate those risks and challenges. We also have another project that we're working on, the robotic fabrication lab at the Department of Architecture, where we introduced the idea of how we combine between local resources that are abundant in Egypt and the technologies that are allowed by robotic fabrication and the position of these materials. So we have here some prototypes that we have fabricated in the lab that are related to how we can use clay as, for example, any clay-based materials and earth-based materials are very versatile, very durable. They have fantastic properties and characteristics energy-wise. And so we base on these ideas, but also introduce the innovations and technologies of fabrication using robots that we have at the department. So these are examples of prototypes that we have fabricated using those techniques. we use these to kind of innovate and do aesthetically satisfying patterns, but also that work with local materials such as clay. And we utilize these technologies in different facets of the building, whether they are structural or related to the building envelope and so on. And also Dr. Hanadi Salem, we had collaborated on both our labs, the robotic fabrication lab at the Department of Architecture and the additive manufacturing Centennial lab at the mechanical engineering department. We collaborate together on clay and metal and how they are used interchangeably and together in fabricating building envelopes and other iterations. I will leave the floor to her to expand on this idea.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Just let me give you an overview why we're here. When we're talking about metals and specifically steels, buildings and infrastructure are all made out of steel structures. And it requires, it constitutes 52% of the steel manufacturing worldwide. The problem is that steel manufacturing emits a lot of CO2 and it consumes a lot of energy. So to solve this problem, we need, of course, to find ways to minimize those emissions, and to reduce the energy consumption. And one of the techniques that was found to be very useful to solve this problem is wire arc additive manufacturing, which is the on-site building of those structural parts using robotics and robotic control process. This process constitutes almost 40% less in energy and almost 95% reduction in carbon emissions. So augmenting or coupling both the work of clay using robotics and steel using additive manufacturing techniques, both of them could produce very complex buildings, shapes, structures, and infrastructure, which would reduce the emissions and solve the very huge part of the problems that we're encountering now. So I hope that this is something that we can expand, and I hope this is useful to our research and also in application. Thank you.
Okay, so now we want, Dr. Yasmin, we want to talk about the AUC fish that made its way from Cairo. Can you tell us more about the sandponics and the aquaponics?
Okay. Actually, in the center, we have something we call the 3S. In Egypt, we have the 3S, the sea, the sand, and the sun. That's why one of the projects we have, which is displayed here, is the sandponics. What we do in the sandponics, we grow fish and plants simultaneously with the same water. Here, the fish water need to be changed every day or every 2 days in order to have the healthy environment for the fish. But this costs a lot of water. So we have the water, we filter it through the sand, and then we filter it through the sand. Also, the sand have the bacteria that will transfer the urea into nitrate. The plant will take this nitrate as a fertilizer. So I'm having a closed system. I'm using the same water with no input of the inorganic fertilizers that emit a lot of carbon emissions while being manufactured. This is one of the projects we are having. Another one is recirculating aquaculture. In this aquaculture, we are trying to maximize the production of the fish while using little water. For example, the growing season of the fish take to 3 to 4 months. In this, we have bi-weekly change of the water. In this system, we use the same water along the growing system. This will save almost about 80% of the water, while in the same time, we are maximizing the production of the fish. In normal system, you have 30 kilograms of fish produced, but here we start with 50 and we can go up to 150, of course, by close control of the process, the water quality, and also the injection of oxygen. This is one of the 2 projects we are working with in order to help in combating the climate change effects that will increase the water scarcity in the region, as well as jeopardize the food security for the people. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Yes. Okay, so we're moving around.
Allow me to give some introduction about this second project that we're working on, led by Dr. Sharif Gobran, myself, Dr. Khalid Nassar, and Dr. Omar Abdelaziz. This project is basically a rework of our architectural identity, rediscovery of our architectural identity in terms of assessing and analyzing the architectural vocabulary, like wind towers, of what we have actually not using anymore. So in here, we have constructed a model, and we are working on research that analyze the way we actually look and utilize wind towers in terms of their aspect ratio, in terms of their mechanical characteristics of airflow motion, and that will allow us to give us information of how can we invent this and introduce it in our buildings again. Currently, this project has been funded internally by the university, and we are working on the advanced phases of it is to issue rules of thumb for designers on how they actually can approach the complexity of involving wind towers in our buildings and reintroducing it to our current generation of residential and commercial structures. So,
thank you, Dr. Khalid. Okay, we have one of our students here. Hi, can you tell us about your role here?
Hi, my name is Mariam Bashir. I'm a student, an undergrad student majoring in architecture engineering. Our role here is mainly looking around the pavilion and displaying different strategies or events that are represented by the university itself. We have booths displayed by CARE's department. We have talks displayed. We have the model that just Dr. Khalid talked about, and the VR set up by the architecture department. Mainly, we are here to discuss several sustainable techniques. It's been quite fun and it's interesting. Today has been the longest day, so it's and we're here meeting new people and making connections. So it's quite interesting for me, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mariam. Okay, and here is the presentation area. Dr. Layla Al-Baradei and Said Al-Deep they're presenting the Public Policy Hub and the students' work on 5 different policy papers related to climate change and media advocacy videos. This is basically where the presentations take place. And you can check the agenda on AUC's climate change webpage. And there's a special page for COP27. You'll find it in the chat to know more about the AUC's climate change initiative and AUC's participation in COP27. And then here we reach the beginning and the end of the AUC's pavilion, where we always have here the presentations of the day. Okay. Dr. Sharif Gobran, you're here. We talked about your project, the wind towers. Do you want to give us a brief?
Sure. Let's go. So the wind tower project was funded by an SSE seed grant. It's a team of 4 professors and myself, Dr. Khalid Tarabia, Dr. Omar Abdelaziz, Dr. Khalid Nassar, and we're working with almost 8 researchers between undergrads and graduates, looking at the history of the towers, looking at their ability to enhance daylighting, looking at their ability to improve ventilation, and looking at the design parameters of the towers, and how that we can use them to improve the performance of the tower in terms of its ability to provide ventilation and thermal comfort for the users. Dr. Khaled just told me that he walked you through our small scale model that we're using. We have almost 6 students and researchers from AUC that will be here across COP to present that prototype. And we're very excited about the feedback that we've been receiving from everyone about the prospect of using these passive traditional architectural interventions in our buildings to look at less carbon intensive ways to cool and improve thermal comfort in spaces. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharif. Okay, we have another student. Hi, can you introduce yourself and tell us about your work here? What are you doing?
Hi, I'm Amira Mamoon. I'm an architecture major here at AUC. I'm here at the COP27 Pavilion. I'm part of the task force. Basically, we help out with the pavilion, show people around the pavilion, explain all the different stuff we're portraying here. We help out with the professors, showing their presentations and all that.
Thank you. So I hope we gave you like a very thorough tour of AUC Pavilion here at COP27.
Yes, that's really wonderful. Like, I must say, I'm very, very proud of the excellent work that our faculty and students are presenting. There are a lot more. There's a lot more, and we worked in this task force for many, many months, and everything was written. But then when you see it going live, and you see the wonderful participation, of AUC, and we really reflect very well on our faculty and the wonderful efforts they are doing to tackle climate change. So, Dr. Adham, if you want to say anything about this wonderful event.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Hani. So I am actually joining the campus conversation from a very green soil pad next to the AUC Pavilion. So it's actually a very good idea that allows me to join the conversation in a quieter area, but just a few footsteps away from the pavilion of AUC. So yes, it's very exciting to actually come and to see the fruition of the efforts of everybody on the task force, for all the support teams that we've had at AUC, the students' contribution, the faculty contributions to the pavilion. It's really going very well. I'm very impressed by, of course, the work that's presented, but by the presence, by the attendance, by the dynamic flow of people through the pavilion and the interest it's creating. And of course, the contribution of AUC in the COP27 is just one very exciting, of course, component of the wider or the bigger climate change initiative at AUC. This is an initiative that was started last year. Basically, it relies or is based on the decades-long experiences, research outputs, outreach activities that have been taking place at AUC for years. Regarding sustainability, environmental sustainability, sustainable development, and issues related to climate change and climate action. So COP27 came at a very opportune moment because it provided a very good catalyst for people on campus, but also outside campus, to get more involved and to know more about our climate change work and environmental sustainability work, but also be involved in it. So the climate change initiative is something that is here to stay at AUC. It goes beyond COP27, and we're planning to make use of the momentum that is created by the interest in COP27 and our contribution there, both on campus and off campus, to really maintain our AUC's activities in that particular field. Of course, focusing on priorities, national and regional and African priorities, focusing on the multidisciplinarity of sustainability and climate change and climate action, and focusing on different concepts that we need to keep in mind while we're conducting work on climate action. And the focus of the climate change initiative is really fivefold: water issues, green buildings and sustainable urban communities, global health, green financing, and energy transition. So these really look at the issues related to environmental sustainability and climate change and climate action from different facets. And I'm personally very excited to both have our faculty members, faculty colleagues, and our graduate, but also undergraduate students really engaged in such activities. So we're planning to maintain the momentum over the coming few years, and hopefully continue to produce results and outputs that are very useful to real problems in Egypt, the region, and also the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Adham. Ms. Dina, would you like to add more to this?
Thank you, Dr. Henry. I mean, obviously, it's really wonderful to see this, work come to life. We've been imagining it for so long, so it's really amazing to get to see a snapshot, even if only over a screen. So I really congratulate everyone for all their hard work. As I think Dean, Associate Provost Ramadan really captured it, what's interesting or what's unique about climate change, it's a topic that touches everyone, and it's kind of a shining example of the kinds of roles that universities like AUC and AUC in particular can play in finding real world solutions to real world problems. So it's something that touches all of our lives. From the communications perspective, obviously we're keen to support the wonderful work of our faculty and our students in this area. Much of the work that's been done, thanks to kind of COP27 catalyzing it, is going to continue. So the climate change website we've mentioned, check that out. It has a lot of the work that's being done by our faculty that will continue to grow. COP27, that page, and much of the work that's been doing there is going to springboard, additional focus as we do the work. Here on campus, it's a chance to really talk about it in the outside world as well. So anyways, super exciting to see, and it's been wonderful to be part of this task force.
Thank you, Dr. Dina. And I must say though, because we don't have a lot of presentation from us, Humanities and Social Science, and I want to give them a plug, because it's very important to relate the climate change crisis to our humanity and how it's affecting us. So I know there are many thought-provoking projects. There's something related to time capsule, or someone was just doing an art installation about how life would look like from an airplane if we don't do anything about the climate change. There's also rooftop gardening. There's also focus groups about eco-anxiety. I'm sorry, I'm being biased for my school, but I mean, I maybe they are presenting in a different day. So I wanted just to give them a plug, and I hope they really do an excellent job explaining the impact of climate change on humanity, and people really need to take this seriously. I'm very proud of my university that we're there. We have an excellent presence. And that's what AUC is all about. It's about being, they already presented eco-anxiety, just learned, so excellent. And so thank you very much for joining us. And I don't see that we have questions, but I would really like to invite you to look at the website. It has all the presentations, and it's a great work. I mean, everybody has their work is there, so the website is just an excellent way for you to know what's going on in the university and what kind of work that we're presenting in COP27. Thank you very much, and thanks for everybody who joined us today, and we look forward to have more campus conversations. Thank you.